There was a diner on the corner of 5th Street, an old, cozy place where the scent of fresh coffee and sizzling pancakes filled the air. It was the kind of place that welcomed everyone, where you could find a slice of comfort on a cold morning or escape the noise of the world with a cup of warm tea. But there was one person who came in every day, without fail, who didn't quite fit the usual crowd. He was a beggar, a man in ragged clothes, unshaven, with eyes that carried stories of hardship. His name was Alex, and every day, like clockwork, he would take his spot by the window, just as the sun started to rise. He didn't ask for much, just a simple meal. The waitress who worked at the diner, Maria, always noticed him. Maria was in her late 20s, with a kind smile that never faded. No matter the difficulty of the day, she had her own struggles, working long hours, barely making enough to cover her bills, and constantly battling the weight of a broken relationship that seemed impossible to fix. Despite her exhaustion, Maria always made sure Alex had a meal. She didn't ask why he never seemed to have any money, or why he always wore the same threadbare jacket. She just knew that no one should be hungry. Over time, their brief exchanges became routine. Maria would place a steaming bowl of soup or a plate of scrambled eggs in front of Alex, and he would nod in gratitude, his eyes a mix of sorrow and silent thanks. "Here you go, Alex," Maria would say, her voice soft yet steady. The usual. "Thank you, Maria," Alex would reply, his voice rough like he hadn't spoken in days. "You're kind." But on this particular day, something changed. It was a Monday morning, and Maria had just finished her shift. The diner was quiet, and most of the regulars had already left. As usual, Alex sat by the window, staring out at the world, lost in thought. Maria walked over to him with a warm cup of coffee, but as she approached, she noticed something different. Alex wasn't sitting hunched over like he normally did. He was sitting up straight, his posture somehow more dignified. He looked different, and then, as she placed the coffee in front of him, Alex did something that stunned her. He looked up, locking eyes with her, and said, "I am a billionaire." Maria froze. Her hand, which had been gently placing the coffee cup, suddenly felt heavy. She stared at him, unsure if she had heard him correctly. She'd heard people say strange things before, but this was different. "What did you say?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Alex leaned back in his chair, his eyes softened by a mix of sadness and regret. "I said, I'm a billionaire." For a moment, Maria didn't know how to react. She was used to people telling tall tales, especially in the diner where life's realities often seemed to blur into fiction. She thought maybe he was joking, or maybe he was delusional, but there was something about the way he said it that made her stop in her tracks. "Why don't you tell me everything?" Maria asked, pulling up a chair and sitting down across from him. She hadn't planned on staying, but something inside told her she needed to hear his story. Alex sighed, a long, drawn-out breath, as if he had been carrying a weight for far too long. He looked out the window for a moment, as if deciding whether to speak. Then he began. "I wasn't always like this," Alex said, his voice steady now, as though the words had been waiting for years to escape. "I wasn't always this man sitting in a diner, asking for a free meal." He paused, his gaze flickering to the street outside. "I was once one of the wealthiest men in the world. I had everything, a luxurious home, a thriving business, friends who admired me. But I didn't know how to appreciate it. I didn't know how to appreciate the people around me. I was too busy chasing success, too focused on numbers, and I lost sight of what truly mattered." Maria listened intently, her curiosity piqued. She had never heard such vulnerability in his voice, nor had she ever imagined that the beggar she served daily could have such a past. "I had a company, a tech company," Alex continued. "We were on the verge of changing the world. But the pressure got to me. I pushed my team too hard, I alienated my family, and I neglected my health. Slowly, everything started to crumble. The business fell apart, my marriage ended, and I lost contact with everyone who cared about me. I didn't just lose money. I lost my humanity, my self-worth, and I was left with nothing." Maria felt a tightness in her chest. She had heard stories of people who had everything and lost it all. But this felt different. There was real pain in his words. She could see it in the way his hands shook slightly as he held the coffee cup, and in the way his eyes seemed to look through her, as though he was still living in those past mistakes. "I ended up on the streets," Alex continued. "I didn't know what else to do. So I came here. I didn't have the heart to ask for help, so I just waited. And over time, I realized something. It was easier to let people think I was a beggar, because being invisible meant not facing the truth of who I had become. Maria sat there, absorbing his words. She couldn't believe it. The man sitting across from her, the one she had seen every day, had once been the epitome of success. Now he was a broken soul, lost and searching for redemption. The weight of his story sank deep into her heart. "So why are you telling me this now?" Maria asked quietly. Alex looked at her, his eyes filled with a mixture of regret and hope. "Because I've realized something. I don't want to live in the past anymore. I want to make a change. I want to give back, and I need your help." Maria sat there, stunned, trying to process what she had just heard. The challenges Alex had faced, the loss of everything he held dear, the years of self-imposed isolation, had been unimaginable. But there was something about his honesty, his willingness to share his story, that moved her deeply. "Help?" Maria asked, her voice soft. "How can I help you?" Alex smiled, but it was a bittersweet smile. "I don't need money. I don't need charity. What I need is a chance to do something good again. I've been invisible for so long that I've forgotten what it feels like to truly make a difference in someone's life." Maria sat back, thinking about his words. She realized something. This wasn't just about Alex. It was about redemption, about finding meaning after losing everything. It was about giving someone the chance to rebuild, not just their life, but their soul. "I don't know how I can help, but I will try," Maria said, her voice steady with newfound determination. "I'll help you find your way back, Alex." From that day forward, things changed. Maria helped Alex rebuild his life, not by offering him money, but by giving him something more valuable: support, encouragement, and a sense of worth. Alex began to regain his confidence. Slowly, he started volunteering at local charities, helping those who were once in his shoes. He used his wealth not to buy material things, but to fund initiatives that made a real difference in people's lives. Over time, Maria's life changed too. She began to see the world through a different lens. She saw how small acts of kindness could have a ripple effect, how one person's willingness to help could change everything. Maria's relationship with Alex transformed from one of pity to one of mutual respect. She had not only helped him rebuild his life, but in doing so, she had found a new purpose for herself as well. The moral of the story is simple but powerful. Success and wealth are fleeting, but kindness, empathy, and the ability to help others endure. Alex's journey is a testament to the fact that it's never too late to change, to rebuild, and to make a positive impact on the world. And sometimes, the most unexpected encounters, like a waitress feeding a beggar every day, can lead to life-changing moments that transcend money and status. If you enjoyed this story and found inspiration in Alex's journey, please do me a favor and comment below. Let me know your thoughts, and feel free to share any personal experiences of kindness or change. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Whispers of Kindness. We share stories of hope, redemption, and the power of kindness every week. Stay tuned for more stories that will touch your heart. Thank you for watching.